Catalina De Erauso was a Spanish nun who lived during the 16th and 17th century, where women didn't have the same rights men did. She escaped the convent before taking her final vows and dressed up as a man to have the same rights as them. She fought in the army and won several wars, which brought Spain to its golden age. When she had already lived several years as a man, she wrote a letter to the Spanish crown, saying she was actually a woman. She proved that women could do things men did, and that they should have the same rights. Although she did many important things for Spain and left an inspiration for women to get their own rights they deserved, she did several bad things too, like murdering several people, including her own brother, stealing money from people like her uncle, and some other stuff. Some people should think she was a hero because she led Spain to its golden age. Some believe she was an inspiration for people to fight in their rights, especially for women. Still, some believe she was a bad person who murdered a bunch of people.
Catalina De Erauso was born in about 1585 AD in Spain in the times of the Spanish conquistadors. Back in the 16th century, women didn't have the same rights as men did. They had to work a lot and they were tortured and forced by men. Catalina De Erauso was forced by her family to enter the San Sebastian convent. She had to choose whether to marry someone or stay in the convent and live like a nun for the rest of her life. Catalina de Erauso was another girl who had to come to the convent, and she usually got into fights with Catalina De Erauso, and they had to put her at a cell, which shows how unfair they were with women in those times. Before taking her final vows, Catalina De Erauso escaped the convent and dressed as a man.
After Catalina de Erauso had escaped from the convent, she went to different parts of Spain, always dressed as a man. She also changed her name several times. She worked in several things, including the king's secretary in Vídeo. Her parents were looking for her, and she could not afford to get discovered, so she fled from Spain and into the New World. The New World, also known as South America, was discovered, and the Spanish wanted to rule over it. Catalina took advantage of the war and dressed up as a man and changed her name. She spent some years working in many different jobs before entering to the army.
Catalina was a skilled fighter and very aggressive, as she murdered a few people, including her own uncle, because he had stolen money from her. She was threatened by two men and she cut their faces, so she went to prison. With the help of the priest, she got out of prison with the condition that she would marry the wife of the man she hurt. She was threatened again by the friends of the man she had hurt, and she ended up killing the friends, so she had to go back to prison. Her identity was discovered by the priest and she had to go away. The Spanish army was recruiting soldiers for the conquest of Chile, and Catalina De Erauso decided to enter the army. After all, she was a skilled fighter.
When Catalina joined the army, she discovered the governor's secretary was her own brother, Miguel de Erauso. Miguel did not recognize Catalina. For around 3 years, she worked alongside her brother, enjoying what she says was the good life. A fist fight was provoked between them, ending in Catalina losing her office job. She was then sent to find the Mapuche Indians in Paicabi, Chile. In one battle, she captured a company flag, and by doing so, she was promoted to lieutenant, which is a deputy or substitute for a superior person. In Spanish, this was called the alferez. From this, she got the second half of what people call her these days, being the title La Monja Alferez.
A friend of Catalina wanted her to be his second, or the person in charge of first off duty, escalating the solution, negotiating weapon selection, and a few other things like communication. Catalina accepted being his second. When Catalina was battling alongside her as her second, she heard her friend take a hit and she jumped into the battle and eventually killed the other man's second. She then discovered the person she killed turned out to be her own brother. She went to a church. She sometimes went to avoid being arrested. She watched her brother's funeral but continued fighting.
After the event of killing her brother, she went back to Cusco, the capital of Peru, in about 1620. In 1623, Catalina De Erauso was stopped because of a dispute she had. She didn't want to go to jail, so she begged the priest Agustin de Carvajal to let her go. Catalina also told Agustin about her real identity and that she had been an incumbent. Agustin de Carvajal still did not believe her and decided to bring some midwives, which is a type of doctor in those times that attended deliveries, so they could determine if Catalina was saying the truth of her being a woman. Agustin de Carvajal protected Catalina and sent her to Spain, where the King Felipe V kept her post in the army. He also decided to name her the Lieutenant Nun, and also permitted her to stay with her man name. She eventually met the Pope and was named the Spanish celebrity. In about 1630, Catalina had died because of a fight with two men she insulted because she was called a woman. Now her grave can be found at the church San Juan de Dios in Cotaxtla, Mexico.
Catalina was very aggressive and depended on violence to solve her problems. She murdered several people. She murdered her brother, her uncle. She even murdered someone over a game of cards just because the men offended her because she lost. Although she was aggressive, she was also a skilled fighter, helped bring Spain to its golden age. She was good in a way, but she also murdered several people. She was very intelligent though. She was able to imitate and act as a man, although she was a woman. Other than that, she rarely expresses emotions, except for her anger when people offend her. She expressed her emotions a few other times though, like when she found out her brother was in the army, and also when she murdered him.
Catalina De Erauso fits into this year's theme as she explored the New World or South America. She also explored men's rights which women did not have at that time, and she did this by dressing up as a man. She explored what few women had the rights to do at that time. She also fits into encounter because she encountered many things through her life. She encountered her brother both as a military governor secretary and in a battle against him. She encountered other stuff too, like several problems when she murdered people, and because she was a woman, she encountered the challenge of hiding her identity. Catalina exchanged many stuff through her life. When she was sentenced to death, she was able to exchange her won battles to be let live. Most of the things she exchanged was to save her from dying and being sent to death. These are the reasons why Catalina De Erauso fits into this year's.
Catalina De Erauso is sometimes thought as a bad person because she murdered and stole money from her uncle, and did other bad things too. She murdered several people if they offended her, like a guy she killed over a game of cards. She was too aggressive and murdered too much people, and then usually avoided the punishment she had by hiding in a church. She stole money from her uncle and eventually killed him. These are still only a few reasons people think she was a bad person.
Catalina De Erauso could have murdered several people and stolen money from her uncle and have done many other wrong things in her life. But in the end, she was a very important person. She inspired women to fight for their rights and brought Spain to its golden age. Women are not the only people who Catalina De Erauso inspired, as she also left an inspiration to most people who don't have the rights they deserve to fight for their rights. She won many wars for Spain too, and helped Spain come to its golden age. She was such an important person. She was allowed to meet the Pope and became a Spanish celebrity and was allowed to dress up as a man even after people discovered she was a woman. She fought for her rights by dressing up as a man and living with the rights men had that women didn't, and that was what left a legacy for the world, as she helped make women get the rights men had and left an inspiration for people to fight for their rights. This and her help in the military was the main legacy she left